Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are watching another exciting chess game. This one was played in 1995 at Tilburg Interpolis Tournament in Netherlands, and it was played between chess legend Antony Miles and his opponent, another chess legend and a chess giant, Viktor Korchnoi. Now, what is so unique about this game in this tournament in total is that Antony Miles played this whole tournament lying on some sort of a massage table or a hospital bed. You can check the Tilburg Interpolis 1985 images and see that Antony Miles played this whole tournament lying on his stomach. The reason was that before the tournament he mentioned to the officials that he has an insufferable back pain, he was under meds, and he wanted to play by laying down. Judges and the officials of the tournament, as the players who mostly agreed, some of those protested, like Robert Hibner, and Roman Djindjingashvili wanted to play by standing up. So he wanted to protest this kind of breaking the rules, and he wanted to stand up the whole game since Antony Miles was allowed to lie down. And what is even more funnier, that Antony Miles actually won this full tournament. He shared the first spot with Viktor Korchnoi and Robert Hibner with 8.5 points, but better score in between allowed him to beat and become a champion of this tournament. So truly, Antony Miles was a character, and this tournament was a piece of art. Now, he mentioned that he had medical records and this was all official, but Robert Hibner also mentioned that he saw him in some Chinese restaurant and he was completely sitting up. He was sitting like normal, so he told that to the officials. And then after that, of course, he declined that, but Antony Miles said that if he wasn't allowed to stand up, then at least that he should be allowed to walk whenever he wants to, because in these sort of tournaments you are not allowed to move from your board when you are on the move. So when it is your move, you cannot go outside and walk and basically spend your time somewhere else, but you have to sit on the table and you have to play your moves. So this was the game of the first round between Antony Miles, who was playing lying down on his stomach, against Viktor Korchnoi, of course. Amazing guy. And without further ado, we will go straight into the game. So Robert Miles opened the game with d4. We have d4, d5. We have c4. D takes on c4. So Queen's Gambit accepted. Knight to f3 for Miles. We have c5, immediately challenging this pawn in the center. Knight to c3 for Antony Miles, and we have e6 for black. We have e4 grabbing the center. C takes on d4, queen takes on d4, and right now black refuses this trade and he plays a bishop to d7. And right now Antony Miles immediately plays really sharp and he wants to play knight to e5. Usually in first rounds of the tournaments, players are not rushing with their games, and they want to play peacefully and usually make a draw. But in this game, Antony Miles, this goes for both black and white, Antony Miles played really sharp and he wanted to gain a victory. We have knight to f6 for black, a knight takes on c4, a knight c6 attacking this queen, and right now a knight to d6 was played for Antony Miles. This was his main idea with this move, so he wants to take this dark squared bishop. After queen takes on d6, Korchnoi offers queen e7 trade. We have queen picking up on e7 with a check, king takes on e7, and right now development move by white, bishop e3. Black continues with b6, wants to limit this dark squared bishop. We have f3 protecting this pawn. Rook h goes on d8, and right now we have a long castle played for Antony Miles. Bishop goes on e8. Viktor Korchnoi wants to offer a trade. He wants to go into the endgame. For now, Miles refuses, but he allows Korchnoi to take under his conditions. We have knight to d7, a knight to b5 now played for Antony Miles, with the idea to enter this knight on this c7 square and take this bishop. Korchnoi allows this and he plays f6. We have knight to c7, rook 8 to c8 attacking, and right now knight takes on e8 and rook takes on e8. So Viktor Korchnoi thought that he will have a good endgame here. He will block the position, and with these two knights he will dominate his opponent. King to b1 was played for Antony Miles. Obviously you want to remove yourself from this open file and this discovered check. Knight d goes on b8. We have a rook to c1. We have e5 now played for Korchnoi, and right now rook h to d1, taking and grabbing the open files. Rook e goes on d8, we have a trade of rooks, and right now bishop b5 was played for white, attacking this knight. We have rook to d6 defending. Now it's worth mentioning that after bishop b5, knight d4 doesn't work, because after bishop takes on d4, rook takes on d4, this is a dangerous check for white, and after king goes on d6, white will pick up this pawn. These pawns are also hanging, and this is a winning for white. So after bishop to b5, Korchnoi was forced to play rook to d6. We have a3 on the board, king goes on d8, and bishop c4 was played for white. We have knight to e7 with the idea to block this bishop coming to d5 and b4. Usually when you have bishop pair, you want to grab as much space as you can and then create some sort of a break somewhere on the board. Knight b goes on c6, we have king to b2, we have knight to d4, right now putting this knight in the center. We have a rook to d1, and right now we have king to c7. We have a rook to d2 for Antony Miles. Now I want to share you something else here. After king to c7, bishop takes on d4, and rook takes on d4 looked really attractive, because after rook takes on d4, e takes on d4, it looks like white is winning here. But after king to c2, king d6, king d3, and king e5, simply you cannot remove this king, because now if you tried with g3, black has this move g5, and it's a dead draw. So this wasn't working for Antony Miles. That is the reason why he played rook to d2. We have g5 on the board for black, and we have a4 now. You can see the idea of Antony Miles. He wants to bring this rook on a2 and then try and create a pawn break here and then invade with his rook on the a file. We have knight to g6 played for black, king goes on c3, we have knight to h4, kind of attacking this pawn, but it is still defended here by this rook. b5 played for Antony Miles, knight goes on e6, trying to reroute his knights. We have rook to a2, finally Antony Miles puts his idea into practice. Knight to d4 for black, king goes on b4, and right now we have knight to g6. a5 is finally on the board, trying to create a pawn break. B takes on a5, and right now Miles decided to take with his king, which was definitely a better option. Rook takes on a4 is not as good, because black has knight c2 check, and of course you will lose this bishop. So this is not good, and after king takes on a5, we have knight f4 for black. Black now tries to attack this pawn if this rook moves. King goes on b4, king goes on b8, and right now g3 is played for white. Now white wants to remove this knight. Also, this knight is kind of pinned because this pawn is hanging here. So Korchnoi has to be careful. Knight f goes on e6. And finally, bishop takes on e6 is played. As I mentioned before, rook takes on e6 is played, because after a knight takes on e6, simply this pawn will fall. Rook takes on e6, a bishop takes on d4, e takes on d4, and right now rook a6 is played here for white. Black refuses with rook to e7. I just want to show you to see what would happen if rook takes on a6 is played, b takes on a6. Yes, black has this passed pawn, but it can be easily captured by white. We will see one computer line after king to c7. Let's see what computer had in mind. After f4, d3, trying to remove this king as far as possible from the board. Then after d2, king takes on d2, king goes on d6, king d3, g4 for black, king d4, h6 for black, and right now we have f5 recommended move. After h5, now king can play anything pretty much here. Everything is good. You can go with king to c3 as well. You can go king to c4. You can even go, I will show you now, king to c4. After king to e5, sacrificing this, you are simply faster, because king c6, king takes on f5, king b7, king e4, king takes on a7, f5, king b7, f4, g takes on f4, and after h4, a7, king takes on f4, and a8 is a queen, and white is winning. So that is the reason. After rook to a6, Korchnoi saw that rook e7 is a must, you cannot trade here. Now king c4, the game starts to become easier. Now white could have picked up this pawn as well here, but he didn't want to allow any kind of sorry, just to see, but he didn't want to allow any kind of counterplay here with maybe possible rook to d7 and pushing this pawn. So that is the reason why firstly king to c4, rook to s7, king takes on d4. We have h5, black is out of moves, king to d5, rook to b7, attacking this pawn. King goes on e6, sacrificing this pawn, rook takes on b5, king takes on f6, we have g4 on the board, f4, creating a passed pawns, actually two passed pawns, rook to b2, we have e5, king b7, rook goes on a1, and after rook takes on h2 and e6, Viktor Korchnoi on the move 50th resigned because this is a completely lost game for black. Let's say after rook to e2, we have e7, and after king to c7, you simply lose this pawn, king to c6, king f7, and nothing you can do here. This pawn will promote and you will lose your rook and you will lose the game. And this is how this amazing game ended, and this is all I have prepared for you today, guys. If you enjoyed this game, please make sure to leave a comment, like, and share this video with other people who enjoy chess. Also, if you have some comments about this game, if you want to check some future games you would like to let me analyze, do let me know in the comments below. As always, you know how I enjoy reading your comments. And for everything else, feel free to share your thoughts with me, of course, and of course about this game. And this special kind of event with Antony Miles playing on his massage bed. What do you think about that? Would you allow it? And what would happen if something... what would you do if something like this happened to you playing some tournament and one of the players says that I want to play lying back with my hospital bed facing you? So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see each other on the next video. I wish you a pleasant night. Bye bye.